Hey everybody, this is Country Girl with Kathy Jarvis, and today's a bit different. It's raining outside. It's not cold, but it's rainy and damp. So we just got through rotating our pantry, and we found a few things that really need to be used up. So I am going to be cooking out of the pantry today, and what we're going to make is chicken white chili. And I'm using pinto beans instead of white beans. Now, for the longest time, I thought that you could only use white beans in any type of chili. White beans or kidney beans in any type of chili. And I've since found out that it works well with any type of bean. Pinto bean, black bean, northern bean, it works. So today we had some pinto beans that we needed to use up. Got some pinto beans. They were dried. First thing I did was I sorted them. Now I use this little colander and I pour them in there and I put water in there, rinse them off good, and then I take them and put them into my pot, my cast iron Dutch oven. Now use 6 cups of water and you pre-soak your beans. Now you can pre-soak them 2 ways. You can either put them in water and leave them set overnight, or you can use the quick soak method, which is what I usually use. And that's basically, you put 6 cups of water, you put your sorted beans in here, you bring it to a boil, let it boil for 2 minutes, take it off the heat, put the lid on them, and set the timer for an hour, and then you come back in an hour and you put the rest of the ingredients into your chili. Now I'm going to be using some things out of the pantry. I have some fresh onions, I have some garlic, and I'm going to be using some canned chicken, which has to be used up as my meat. So we'll be back in an hour when this is ready to continue. Alright, after 1 hour, what you need to do is drain your beans, and this is what they're going to look like. Now we'll add 6 cups of water back to this. Now pinto beans is kind of important to drain them first and rinse them and then add the water. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, I've got the beans drained and rinsed, and I've got 6 cups of water added to this. Next we're going to add 3 large onions. Now I've added a large onion, and you can use either fresh onions or you can use minced onions, dried onions, or you can use combination. Now I'm going to use combination. I've got 1 extra large onion in there, and I use 2 tablespoons of dried onions. Next thing I'm going to add is my garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic, and if you do mince it, use 2 cloves, or you can use 1/2 of a teaspoon of minced garlic. Now since my chicken is going to be canned from the can, I'm going to add some chicken cube these little chicken cubes. I'm going to add that to them. I'm going to add 6 of them, 1 for each cup of water that's in there. You can use granules too. If I was using chicken stock instead of water, I wouldn't be using these, but I'm using water, so turning it into chicken stock. Now if I was using fresh chicken, I would cut it into cubes and put that in now so it could cook the whole time. But since I'm using canned chicken, I will wait until the last half hour to add it. Now next thing I'm going to add is some ground cumin. And I'm going to add about a half a cup, I don't know, half a cup, yeah, a half a teaspoon to this. Now, it depends on how well you like it. Some people go as high as 2 teaspoons. I'm only going to use a half a teaspoon. You can always add more if you want to later. But I'm starting out with the half. Next thing I'm going to add is a half a teaspoon of ground oregano. A fourth of a teaspoon of salt. And a fourth of a teaspoon of pepper. To add an eighth of a teaspoon of cayenne powder to it. And again, you can go, if you like it spicier, add more. If you like it less, add less. You can always add it individually tasted once it's cooked. Stir that all together. Put the lid back on it. Turn the heat so that just simmers and leave that cook for 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, I'll come back and I'll see if the beans are as tender as I want them. If they are, I will add the chicken and leave that cook for another half hour to get the chicken all nice and warm, and then we'll be able to eat. Now this recipe can either be done in the Dutch oven on top of the stove, or we could put all this into a slow cooker and cook it for 6 to 7 hours, whereas it only takes 2 to 3 hours on the stovetop. Okay, when we've got about a half hour to go, we're going to add the chicken to this chili. Add it in, stir it up, put the lid back on, and wait for a half hour.